All right. Hey, AJ, thanks for providing this detail here. All right. So now I'm going to just start off by saying real quickly what you got right here is exactly why most people end up not succeeding with ads and concluding that advertising or marketing or this funnel or that ad channel, whatever, all kinds of different things don't work. All right. Now, the reason your stuff isn't working isn't because of the fact that you use LinkedIn. It's not because of the funnel. It's because of a lot of setup problems with your positioning. You've got messaging issues. You've got execution issues across the funnel. And at the end of the day, here's what we can ultimately conclude from your initial test, right? So we have to conclude that your audience was not wrong, okay? We have to conclude that LinkedIn is telling you the truth, that when you select the things that you select, you were going to get the people that you wanted to get. And we're going to assume that your ads were shown to those people. So that wasn't a problem, right? So if you're showing these ads to an audience that we know isn't the problem, those are the people we're trying to indeed reach with our offer, then the only thing that we can conclude if people aren't taking action is that our offer wasn't right for that audience, all right? Now, having done this for a long time, I can tell you if you're going after business owners between 1 and 10 million that have less than 10 employees, you're looking at a small group of people and you're looking at a very sophisticated group of people. You're basically trying to get their money from them, right? You're trying to manage their money. They already have people they're working with. They're going to be skeptical as of anybody else that they might be working with. And the way that you have your entire thing set up where you as the marketer aren't even the wealth advisor, right? It makes it very distrusting. Okay. So you got to remember, we're trying to ask wealthy people for their money, right? That's not a small ask, but a lot of people just forget about that. They lose the impact of that when they're putting these things together. Here's the problem, right? So if we're talking to people that are business owners that are 1 to 10 million, this whole idea of sole proprietorship and and a mindset and all this kind of coachy language, it doesn't even apply to them. So you've got a total mismatch with this language that you're using on the front end, and the idea of sole proprietorship being a mindset and not a type of business clearly isn't something that these people are thinking about. I've never even heard of that idea, right? Like, so the thing is when we're trying to like sell something to somebody, we have to be leading with ideas that are already existing in their head, problems that they already have that we're going to solve for them, not some ethereal idea that we have to try to then convince them of and make them believe, and then somehow then use that as a way to then get them to want to give us money for some other thing, because that's what you're doing right now. So the whole structure of this thing, the messaging's wrong. It doesn't even appeal to the market. It's made up stuff that they're not even thinking about. There's no real problem there. There's no urgency behind this. It's like, oh, great mindset, big deal, right? Like, and then that's how people are seeing this, right? So now the other piece here is, this isn't anything against you, but you're just wearing a t-shirt, and I know you're positioning yourself as the customer in a way, you're not even getting into that until the landing page, right? So like right here, what this seems like is like you're the person that I'm working with, right? And so you're trying to tell me this stuff about sole proprietorship, but I'm already beyond that, and this stuff doesn't make any sense to me. It's not anything that I'm thinking about. So I won't even watch the video, you know what I mean? Like there's nothing for me to learn more about. Why would I want to learn more about that? You know what I mean? And then we get to the landing page and we've got a completely different message here. Right now we're talking about aligning ourselves with the upper echelon of elite business leaders. Like what the hell does that even mean? And that's a completely different idea than what's on the ad copy, right? Now, I'm guessing you probably talk about that in your video, but if that's the thing and you're relying on that, then that's a big mistake, because the majority of people aren't going to watch your video or even watch all of it or watch to that point, let alone remember it, right? So when we're, introducing one idea with our copy, and then we've got a completely different idea with our copy on the landing page, that's what we call a cognitive dissonance is what that creates in the person's mind, right? So even if you are getting clicks over here, which are probably only curiosity clicks to begin with, that are not interest clicks, which there's a big difference between those two, you're more than likely just getting curiosity clicks. Then they're seeing this here and they're like, this isn't even the same thing. What is this? And then they're leaving, right? So I bet your bounce rate's really high. Time on page is really low. If you're getting clicks, your click-through rate's probably really low. You're getting probably really high CPCs, right? Because it's just not a well thought out and executed offer, right? So now here's the thing, like coming back to your comment about, this person you're helping out and then their team won't let you have access to the assets. Well, if you're going to do marketing agency stuff, you're going to have to fight against teams, and the client is the person that's making the decisions. So I would be telling her, like, look, if you're not going to let me use your stuff, then I ain't going to do this for you. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Because then you get yourself in this kind of position where now you got to make multiple sales to people, right? Now you got to sell yourself as some credible, believable person that is vouching for this other person. And then they got to be sold on that person being able to help them do whatever the they want to help them with. There's a lot there. It's extra steps. And then when you're doing what you're doing with the, execution here, we've got different ideas. We're not speaking to an idea that's in the hearts and minds of these people that they, actually need to do something about right now. That is why this promotion is falling flat on its face. So what you need is to go back to the drawing board and get a big idea, right? So you'll want to go back through the How to Convert and Scale Paid Traffic to Day 2.0 if you haven't watched that yet. And then you'll want to go through all the SOP document pages that go along with the entire course that teach you how to come up with avatar and get all the messaging and stuff figured out. And you can make the client give you a lot of that information too, so you don't have to do the research yourself, right? So if they don't have documents with it, then you just ask them questions. You get on a phone call, ask them the questions, type down their responses, right? And then you're going to need to come up with a big idea that is better than this. And ideally, you're going to want to be able to use her assets. And if for some reason they just refuse to let you do that, then I wouldn't even do the work. But if for some reason you want to attempt it again, and you're going to put yourself out there like this, then the entirety of this thing needs to be about you vouching for that person, right? Like, think of yourself as an influencer doing an ad for face cream, right? You're just talking about your financial advisor who did all this awesome to help you out, and the stuff that she helped you out with really needs to be the same stuff that the people that we're attracting, or we want to attract, they have a problem with right now, right? So like whatever she helped you with should be the same problem that other people have, and then we could even just lead with that, you know what I mean? So ideally though, you're going to go through and do all the research, because I'm telling you, the people that don't do that, they skip all that process, they're the ones that don't succeed with this stuff. It's essential. You have to know the customer. You have to know the product. You have to know their problems, pains, frustrations, hopes, dreams, desires. You have to know what the client does that actually solves those problems and gives them all of that. You have to have all that ammunition. And then you also need to know, why won't they buy? And you need to address that in all of the things that you're doing, leading somebody up throughout the entire process to getting on a phone call, right? So you guys also chose a really bad model with trying to make people pay for these calls, because even if you do start getting leads, you're not going to get anybody to pay for these calls, because nobody does anymore. Everybody's done this model. The market knows that it's a sales call, essentially. They don't pay for these things anymore. They know. So that's probably something that the client dictated as well, which again, if you're going to do agency work, never let the client dictate the situation, because whoever dictates the situation has the control of the outcome completely, all right? So if you're going to allow the client to dictate the situation, then you don't have control over the outcome, and then when it fails, it's your fault. You can't say about it, all right? So there you go. Hopefully that helps you, bud.